There's a silent addiction that corrodes the male soul more deeply than any drug, more devastatingly than any chemical dependency. And that remains hidden in the shadows of intimacy, because our society not only tolerates it, but celebrates it as freedom. Pornography isn't just a choice of entertainment. It's an invisible prison that transforms warriors into spectators, men of action into passive consumers of empty fantasies, beings with infinite potential into slaves of pixels and simulations. Marcus Aurelius wrote that you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. But how do you find that strength when your own mind has been hijacked by artificial stimuli that promise instant gratification in exchange for your vitality, your focus, your presence in the real world? How do you regain control when you don't even realize you've lost it? The stark truth is this: every man who consumes pornography regularly is unknowingly draining the primordial source of his creative force, his natural magnetism, his ability to build something meaningful in this world. Not because sex is dirty or because pleasure is a sin, but because there's an abyssal difference between conscious, directed sexual energy and the compulsive dissipation of that same energy in fantasies that don't exist. Napoleon Hill, in his studies of history's most successful men, discovered a pattern that modern society chooses to ignore. They all had learned the art of sexual transmutation, not repression. That would be another kind of prison. But the conscious alchemy of transforming the most primal sexual urge into fuel for extraordinary achievements. They understood that sexual energy is the energy of creation in its purest form, and that wasting it on artificial stimuli is like burning money to stay warm when you could invest that same money to build a fortune. Think for a moment about what happens in your brain, your body, your soul when you consume pornography. You are literally training your nervous system to seek effortless gratification, pleasure without conquest, arousal without real connection. You're conditioning your mind to prefer simulation to reality, fantasy to the hard work of building authentic relationships and tangible achievements. Every click, every session, every moment lost in this illusion is a vote you cast against your own evolution. The ancient Stoics understood something that our hypersexualized age has completely forgotten. True power doesn't come from the satisfaction of all desires, but from conscious mastery over them. Seneca said that every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. To begin your journey of transmutation, you need to end your relationship with cheap substitutes for sexual energy. You need to choose reality, however challenging, over simulation, however comfortable. But don't fool yourself into thinking this is just a matter of willpower or superficial discipline. Pornography isn't just a bad habit you can simply stop. It's a complete system of escaping reality that fills deep emotional voids, that dulls existential anxieties, that offers a temporary sense of control in a life that may feel out of control. To truly break free, you need to understand not only what you're doing, but why you're doing it. The journey of liberation from pornography is, in fact, a journey back home, to your true self, to your authentic strength, to your natural ability to create, build, and conquer in the real world. It's a journey from the passive spectator back to the active protagonist of your own life. It's the passage from dispersed energy to focused energy, from instant gratification to lasting satisfaction, from addiction to freedom. When you stop draining your vital energy into digital fantasies, something extraordinary begins to happen. First, you notice you have more physical energy, not just sexual energy, but overall vital energy. Your body stops being constantly in a cycle of artificial arousal followed by chemical depletion. You begin to feel more present, more alert, more alive. It's as if a fog you didn't even know existed begins to dissipate from your mind. Then, you notice changes in your mental clarity. Your ability to concentrate, which had been fragmented for years of chasing intense and immediate stimuli, begins to reconsolidate. You can focus on tasks for longer periods. Your creativity, which was being channeled into unproductive fantasies, finds new outlets in real projects, in solutions to real problems, in creations that exist in the tangible world. But the deepest transformation happens in your relationship with yourself and with others. When you stop objectifying people in your mind through pornography, you automatically become more capable of authentic connections. When you stop seeking effortless gratification, you develop the patience and persistence needed to build real relationships, which require time, energy, vulnerability, and mutual growth. The energy that was once wasted in vicious cycles of seeking, consuming, guilt repeating is now available for you to invest in your dreams, your projects, your personal development. It's like discovering you had a secret bank account with a fortune deposited, but were living like a beggar because you didn't know the money was there. And here comes the deepest aspect of Stoic philosophy applied to this journey, the understanding that you are not your compulsions, you are not your desires, you are not your impulses. You are the consciousness that observes all of this, that can choose how to respond to all of this, that has the power to redirect all this energy to purposes that truly matter to your life and your legacy. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Keep to the present." Pornography is a constant escape from the present, to fantasies of a past you never lived or future possibilities that will never materialize. When you choose to live without pornography, you are choosing to fully inhabit the present moment, with all its real challenges and possibilities. Epictetus taught us that no man is free who is not master of himself. Freedom isn't doing whatever you want, that's just being a slave to your impulses. True freedom is having the conscious ability to choose how you respond to your impulses, how you direct your energy, how you build your life. Sexual transmutation isn't about denying your sexual nature, it's about elevating it. It's about recognizing that sexual energy is your most powerful creative force and consciously deciding how to use that force. Instead of dissipating it in fantasies that build nothing, you learn to channel it to build everything: your career, your relationships, your health, your contribution to the world. There's a fascinating phenomenon that happens when men completely stop pornography and compulsive masturbation. They begin to radiate a different energy. Others notice there's a presence, an intensity, a magnetism that wasn't there before. It's not arrogance or aggression. It's the natural energy of a man who isn't constantly leaking his vitality into digital black holes. This transmuted energy manifests in surprising ways. You become more assertive in work negotiations, more confident in social conversations, more creative in your projects, more persistent in the face of obstacles, more present with the people you love. It's like you've been driving a high-performance sports car but only using first gear. Now you've discovered all the other gears. But let's be completely honest about what this journey really entails, because romanticizing the process would be a betrayal of your intelligence and a sabotage of your preparation. The first days and weeks without pornography aren't glamorous. Your brain, conditioned for years to receive regular doses of dopamine through artificial sexual stimulation, will protest. It will create 1,000 justifications. It will downplay the damage. It will magnify the benefits. It will whisper that one time won't hurt, that you deserve a break, that you need to relieve tension. This is your primitive mind trying to maintain the status quo because change always feels dangerous to the older parts of your brain. It's normal, it's expected, and it's temporary. The key isn't to fight these impulses with brute force. It's to observe them with the serenity of a Stoic philosopher. Acknowledge them for what they are, simply neural activity, not commands you need to obey, and redirect your attention to actions that serve your long-term vision for your life. I want to pause here to share something important with you. If this message is resonating with your soul, if you're feeling that there's a profound truth in these words that can transform your life, then you need to become part of this community of men who are choosing evolution over stagnation. Click the subscribe button and hit the notification bell, because this channel isn't just about information, it's about real transformation. Every week I share deep strategies, philosophical insights, and practical tools that you won't find anywhere else. Men who follow this content regularly report extraordinary changes not only in their sex lives, but in their careers, their relationships, their mental health, and their overall sense of purpose and direction. Don't just be a casual viewer, become an active participant in your own inner revolution. Subscribe now, because your future life depends on the choices you make today. The journey of sexual transmutation is fundamentally a journey of self-discovery. When you remove the escape valve of pornography, you're forced to confront the emotions, anxieties, boredoms, and emptiness you were using it to mask. This can be uncomfortable at first, but it's absolutely necessary for your growth. It's like removing a bandage from a wound, painful in the moment, but essential for real healing. You'll discover that often the urge to consume pornography wasn't really about sex, it was about escape. Escape from stress, from anxiety, from loneliness, from boredom, from the feeling that your life isn't where you wish it were. Pornography offered a temporary escape from these feelings, but in doing so, it also robbed you of the motivation to actually solve the underlying problems that were causing those feelings. When you stop escaping, you're forced to confront. And when you confront, you can finally resolve. When you resolve, you grow. When you grow, you become capable of building the life you truly desire, instead of just escaping the life you have. Sexual energy, when not wasted on fantasies, naturally transforms into creative energy. You'll notice you have more motivation to work on projects that matter, more patience to learn new skills, more courage to take calculated risks, more resilience to persevere when things get tough. This isn't just theory, it's biochemistry. The same hormonal and neural energy that drives sexual desire also drives ambition, creativity, leadership, and achievement. The ancient Taoists had a concept called Jing, the vital essence that can be wasted through sexual excesses or conserved and refined through conscious practices. Yogi spoke of ojas, the radiant vigor that results from the transmutation of sexual energy into spiritual energy. Medieval alchemists wrote about transforming the lead of base impulses into the gold of enlightened achievement. All these traditions recognize the same fundamental truth. Sexual energy is sacred because it is the energy of creation itself, and treating it with reverence and consciousness unlocks extraordinary possibilities. In Stoic philosophy, there's a central concept called premeditatio malorum, the practice of preemptively imagining the challenges you might face to mentally prepare for them. Applied to your journey of liberation from pornography, this means acknowledging that there will be moments of intense temptation, moments of mental rationalization, moments when your resolve will waver. Prepare for these moments not with fear but with wisdom. Create specific strategies for when urges arise. Maybe it's intense physical exercise, maybe it's calling a friend, maybe it's working on a project that demands total concentration, maybe it's meditation or mindful breathing. The important thing is to have a plan before you need it, because in the moment of temptation, your ability to think clearly will be compromised. Also prepare for the subtle shifts others may notice in you. When you stop draining your vital energy, you naturally become more magnetic, more present, more confident. This can generate unexpected reactions, both positive and negative. Some people will be naturally drawn to your new energy. Others may feel threatened by it, especially if they are themselves trapped in patterns of energy dissipation. Remember that your journey of transmutation isn't about judging others or moral superiority. It's about consciously choosing how you want to live, how you want to use your energy, what kind of man you want to become. It's a deeply personal choice that doesn't need to be evangelized or defended, only lived with integrity. One of the most profound revelations men experience on this journey is the discovery that true pleasure, lasting, fulfilling pleasure, comes not from passive consumption, but from active creation, not from instant gratification, but from earned satisfaction, not from escaping reality, but from total engagement with it. When you build something with your own hands, when you solve a complex problem, when you develop a skill through disciplined practice, when you contribute meaningfully to another person's life, the pleasure that results from these actions is incomparably deeper and more lasting than any artificial gratification pornography could offer. And this pleasure isn't followed by guilt, shame, or emptiness. It's followed by genuine pride, authentic confidence, and renewed motivation to continue growing and contributing. It's the difference between a drug that offers a temporary high, followed by an inevitable crash, and a lifestyle that offers increasing and sustainable satisfaction. Sexual transmutation also transforms your relationship with women and intimacy in general. When you stop consuming pornography, you automatically stop objectifying people in your mind. This allows you to see and relate to real women as complex and whole human beings, not as objects of fantasy or consumption. Your conversations become more authentic. Your presence becomes more genuine. Your capacity for real emotional and physical connection deepens dramatically. You discover that true intimacy, the experience of being completely known and accepted by another person, and of completely knowing and accepting another person, is infinitely more satisfying than any digital simulation. When you conserve and transmute your sexual energy, you also develop a quality the ancients called presence. It's hard to define, but easy to recognize. It's a quality of being completely here, completely available, completely engaged with the present moment and the people around you. It's the opposite of scatteredness, distraction, fragmented energy. This presence becomes your energetic signature. People notice when you enter a room. Your words carry more weight. Your actions have more impact. You become someone others naturally trust, turn to for leadership, and who inspires by example more than by words. But perhaps the deepest aspect of this journey is what happens to your relationship with yourself. When you prove to yourself that you can master an impulse as powerful as the sexual one, that you can consciously choose how to direct your vital energy, that you can resist instant gratification in favor of long-term goals, you develop a profound confidence in your own capacity for transformation. This confidence spills over into all areas of your life. If you can master this, you can master anything. If you can transmute this energy, you can transmute any energy. If you can consciously choose in this fundamental area, you can consciously choose in any area. You become the kind of man who does what he says he'll do, who honors his commitments to himself, who doesn't need external validation because he has a solid internal source of self-esteem based on actions aligned with values, who doesn't fear challenges because he's developed confidence in his ability to face difficulties and grow through them. The journey isn't linear. There will be days when you feel invincible, as if you've discovered the secret to life. There will be other days when you struggle just to maintain the basics. This is normal. Real growth always involves cycles, oscillations, periods of expansion followed by periods of consolidation. The important thing isn't perfection, it's the direction. Every day you choose transmutation over dissipation, you're strengthening the neural circuits that serve your evolution and weakening those that serve your stagnation. Every conscious choice is a vote for the man you're becoming. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that a man's life is what his thoughts make of it. When you free your mind from the prison of pornography, when you regain control over your most primal impulses, when you learn to channel your vital energy toward higher purposes, you literally rebuild your life from the foundations. You become a man who not only consumes but creates, who not only reacts but chooses, who not only dreams but achieves, who not only desires but conquers, who not only exists but lives fully, consciously, intentionally. This is the promise of sexual transmutation, not the denial of your nature, but its elevation, not the repression of your energy, but its refinement, not the escape from your humanity, but the conscious integration of all aspects of who you are into a life of purpose, power, and deep satisfaction. The fire that once burned uncontrollably, consuming everything in its path, now burns focused and directed, illuminating the way ahead and providing energy for the journey. The force that once dominated you now serves you. The energy that once dissipated now concentrates like a laser, capable of cutting through any obstacle between you and your deepest dreams. You have a choice to make right now. You can close this video and return to old patterns, to familiar cycles, to the comfortable dissipation of your vital energy. Or you can accept the challenge being offered here, the challenge of discovering who you truly are when you stop draining your strength on digital fantasies and begin investing it in building an extraordinary life. The choice is yours. It always has been, and it always will be. But now you know you have a choice. Now you understand what's at stake. Now you can clearly see the path that leads from slavery to freedom, from dissipation to focus, from simulation to authentic reality. The inner warrior that has always existed within you is waiting. He's waiting for you to stop being a spectator in your own life and become the protagonist of your own story. He's waiting for you to take control, to make the hard choices, to build something worthwhile with the precious energy you've been given. This is the moment. This is the place. This is the choice that can change everything. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel more prepared. Now, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and that step is the conscious decision to never again waste your vital energy on cheap substitutes for real power. Stand up, take a deep breath, look yourself in the mirror, and make a promise to the man you are becoming. Promise that from this moment forward, your sexual energy will be treated as the sacred treasure it is, not wasted on empty fantasies, but consciously transmuted into strength, focus, creativity, and tangible achievements in the real world. This is your initiation into the brotherhood of men who have chosen evolution over stagnation, reality over simulation, authentic power over temporary gratification. Welcome to the most important journey of your life, the journey back home, to your true power, to who you really are when you're not hiding behind vices and escapes. The future is waiting, and it's waiting for a man who has learned to master himself, who understands the value of his vital energy, who has consciously chosen how to live. That man is you. It has always been you. Now it's time to prove it to yourself and to the world.